I'm making stuffed peppers today, and these are the items you are going to need. I have 2.5 pounds of beef. I have my mixing bowl, some salsa. We don't need a whole jar of anything. It's just for flavor, so as much or little as you want. I have fresh garlic, but you can use garlic powder if you want, salt, pepper, Worcester sauce, and in the back I have Grandma's canned tomatoes and tomato juice. You can also just get cans of the stewed tomatoes at the store, or a can of tomato juice also. You don't have to have Grandma's. I have 6 peppers, the boil and bag rice because it's easy. It's what I always grab. I only use 1 bag of rice, and my roasting pan big enough to hold all of these peppers. Most of the work comes in the prep. It's a lot of prep work. We are going to cut and hollow out the peppers, and then we are going to parboil them because I like soft peppers. So I have my water boiling ready for the parboiling, and I'm also going to use that same water to boil my rice afterward. And we need to go ahead and preheat the oven to 350. To hollow out the peppers, if you don't already know, just cut the tops off. Sharp knife. I have a bag here ready to throw this all away. The reason I put salsa in mine is because I like the flavor in with the meat and the rice. And I don't want to cut up little bits of peppers and onions and tomatoes to do that. So picante sauce or salsa has all of that already in there for you. I take a spoon to clean out the rest inside. Make sure you get the, what do you call those? I'm not sure, but I scrape those down because those get bitter. The ribs, that's what I meant. These ribs need scraped down. Get those out of there because they are bitter and we want sweet peppers. And then just do that with all 6 of these, and I'll be right back. All right, water's boiling. We're gonna start parboiling these peppers. And if you like crunchy peppers at the end, you don't wanna do this because this is gonna help soften them up. So I'm just gonna drop a couple at a time down in the water. Get them down there, maybe. If I can get them submerged, it would be better. I only do this for a couple minutes, no more. And I'm just gonna do 2 at a time. So yeah, this is more time consuming for the prep. But in the meantime, I have my garlic minced up and got my jar of tomatoes open, got my bag of rice ready. And now we wait. Okay, this is the last 2 peppers. We're gonna take them out and drain them. Have a colander over in the sink. They're very hot. We are gonna let those drain in here while we're getting everything else together. Let them cool. Super hot. But since our water is still here, go ahead and put your rice in the water. Drop this bag down in there. 8 to 10 minutes. Since we are going to be cooking this in the oven afterward, not just eating it, I think 8 minutes is good enough. We should be good. rice is cooking, go ahead and get your meat in the bowl. And we will get all the spices and everything else in here with it. I don't know how much salt that was. Just measure with your heart. Same with the pepper. And garlic, I have about a teaspoon, so whatever the equivalent is for garlic powder, you can just use that. Throw in a dash of Worcestershire sauce. Or 3. Oh, that's noisy. Sorry. And some picante. Just for a little added flavor. Stir this all up really, really well while we're waiting on that rice to cook. The rice is done, so turn that off. And the peppers, get all these peppers out of here and put them in your pan. I probably did not need a pan this big. We're gonna have to overstuff them. They're still hot. They're all standing up. If they don't stand up nice, you can always take your knife and cut something across the bottom. If you just run it across on the cutting board, you can see which ones are taller. Just shave it off a little bit and then they'll sit flat for you. And then we got to get this rice out of here. Now we have to let this cool because that's hot and I don't want to handle it yet. After your rice is cool enough to handle, cut the bag open. It's drained pretty well. We're going to go ahead and add that. If I can get the rest of this water out. I'm going to add it over to the meat mixture. And stir all of this in really, really low. You can see the steam coming off. This is still going to be way too hot for me to handle yet. So I'm going to have to let this cool for a few minutes after I get it all stirred together before we start making this into some sort of a ball. Stuff inside the peppers. And this also gives me an opportunity to see if it needs more moisture. I want it to form together a little bit. You don't want it to be dry, falling apart. And sometimes rice can absorb the extra moisture and do that. But this actually seems to be pretty good because it's sticking together. Yep. So you push some of my spoon, see how it's all sticking together? It's all good. Okay. Actually, this might not be too hot, but this part is messy because you have to use your hands to make these balls. You can put gloves on if you need to, but that's why we have a sink. It smells good already. Okay. Start making really big balls of meat here. And I'm going to drop them down in the peppers. A little too much in that one. Okay. I'm just guessing on how much to put in each one. I want them all to, because I can take some off of this because that one was overflowing. Put it on top of this one. Just divide it up the best you can. Yep, and we have one that is not very full here, so I'm gonna take a little bit of meat off the tops of some of these others and stuff it in there. Okay, that looks pretty good. I need to wash my hands. So sorry about that. And now I have the tomatoes. We have our stewed tomatoes. Just pour these on top. Right now it's just the juice coming out first. These chunks are going to be a lot bigger than the ones you get out of a jar if you buy stewed tomatoes at the store. You don't want diced tomatoes, you want stewed tomatoes. And then I just break up some of these pieces, get some on each pepper. The rest of the juice and tomatoes fell down inside the pan, and that's okay, because that's where our flavor is going to be. And then I'm just going to salt and pepper the tops of these again. Sorry for all the shaking. And I believe we're ready for the oven. These got to be covered. Just make sure you have a pan that gets covered. And then I'm just going to leave these in for, I'll check them in about 2.5 hours to make sure they're 165 in the middle with a thermometer. So we'll check back when they're done.